Welcome back to the Productive Solopreneur series. In the last video, we went over how you are in a battle for productivity and how productivity may help you feel a sense of purpose and accomplishment in your business and your life. In this video, we are going to get the ball rolling with key number 1, systems over goals. Systems over goals. You've probably been told in order to be productive, you need to set goals, big goals, stretch goals, smart goals. The thinking says that to achieve anything meaningful, you need to turn it into a goal. They actually aren't always ideal. The problem with goals have one big issue. They have an end point. And that means that you're not considered successful until you've actually reached your goal. Until you've reached your goal, you might feel like you're a failure or you're just spinning your wheels, not going anywhere. You haven't achieved anything since the goal seems so far away. Measuring your success this way can make you feel defeated, especially if you have big and ambitious goals. For example, if you want to run $1 million business one day, nothing you do until you actually reach that goal may make you feel like you succeeded. You may be making crazy strides in your business, but they may feel flat compared to your hard to achieve grand goal. Since goals have an end point, you may never feel like a success until you've actually achieved the goal. And even when you achieve the goal, you may start all over again with the next goal. And the reality is, you may not even know what your next goal should be. So you may feel a little aimless. You know you should be trying to accomplish something, but you're not actually sure what that something should be. Even worse, you might feel like since you have already accomplished your goal, you can go back to your past habits instead of pushing forward and growing. You may even lose all that forward progress you made. It's a setup to make you accidentally feel like a failure. The power of systems. There is another way, and they are called systems. Systems allow you to make progress on your goals every day, reach your milestones, guarantee your success, and avoid the feeling that you're just spinning your wheels. So what are systems? Scott Adams, who you may know is the author of the famous Dilbert cartoons, wrote about systems in his book, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, kind of the story of my life. He explained that the difference between systems and goals is this. Losing 10 pounds may be a goal while the system is learning to eat right. Here's another example. Suppose your goal is to clean up your house from top to bottom. So you spend the whole day cleaning and you momentarily feel satisfied with what you've accomplished. However, if you don't have a system in place, your home will just be a mess again in no time, especially if your house is like mine, with kids and dogs. After a couple of days, the dishes fill the sink, the laundry piles up, the floors again are covered in footprints and dog hair. A system, however, would have a cleaning routine. Instead of cleaning the entire house all day, in one day, you train yourself to do a few small tasks each day. The result is that your house is tidy for more than just a couple hours. Here's a business example for you. So your goal might be to generate $60,000 in revenue over the next 3 months. But a system would be that every morning you reach out to 3 potential customers or however many are necessary. The system is what ensures that you actually reach the goal. Using the system doesn't have to mean that you don't have goals. It just means that you focus more on the process than on the final destination. So what's the problem with goals? You've probably been told your whole life to set up grand goals and work really, really hard to achieve them. I did. On its face, that sounds really great. There is nothing wrong with having big goals. Goals can motivate and inspire and challenge us. Goals give us something to look forward to and a reason to continue moving forward. But goals can also be quite rigid and unmoving. Let's imagine that you've set a strict goal for your business. Would you like to make a certain amount of sales by a certain date? You go on to full hustle mode to make all of those sales. And you may make a lot of sales, but what happens if you don't reach that desired amount, that specific amount that was your goal? Chances are you're going to feel like you failed. All of the sales that you did won't bring you happiness because you didn't sell enough. You may feel unproductive and feel like you even want to throw in the towel. And what's most unfortunate about this scenario is that you may have missed so many opportunities along the way, while your head was down working on that one thing. The bottom line, being overly focused on a singular distant goal can easily give you tunnel vision. Your determination to complete a single goal may have kept you from taking the time needed to develop a new service that could have been sold for double the price. Scott Adam writes, if you focus on one particular goal, your odds of achieving it are better than if you have no goal. But you also miss out on opportunities that might have been far better than your goal. With a system, you are less likely to miss one opportunity because you are too focused on another. With a system, you are always scanning for an opportunity. Goals limit your threshold for happiness. The issue with setting goals is that you are so narrowly focused on a time in the future that you aren't happy until you actually hit that spot. Then, when you do reach your goal, the feeling of happiness, it's likely going to fade. You'll feel the need to just keep on chasing that next goal, and you'll continually be working towards something that is at best fleeting. Productivity expert James Clear has also spoken extensively about systems versus goals. In his book, Atomic Habits, he writes, when you fall in love with the process rather than the product, you don't have to wait to give yourself permission to be happy. You can be satisfied anytime your systems are running. And a system can be successful in many forms and not just the one you first envisioned. What actually happens when you reach a goal. You may also realize that once you attained a specific goal, it's kind of a dead end. For an example, let's suppose that you set a goal to run your first marathon. In order to reach your marathon goal, you force yourself into the gym 5 times a week. You run even though you don't want to, and you cut things out of your diet that you don't want to. You work very hard, but you don't enjoy the process to get you there. And once you hit your goal to run a marathon, you probably stop. After a while, you drop your running routine, you go back to your former life. Your muscles will eventually soften, maybe you put the weight back on, and you can't even bear to look at your running shoes. So what went wrong? Sure, you were focused on your goal, but the system that you created to get there was unbearable. You probably started training your marathon because you wanted to be stronger and healthier. Scott Adams explains that though you can set a goal to exercise 3 or 4 times a week on a strict schedule, if you're not enjoying it, it's more likely that you're going to give up on it. You may do it for a while, but in the long run, you'll lack the willpower to continue because it feels like you're punishing yourself. Instead, he suggests in finding ways to be active each day that actually feels good for you. This way, you'll get a psychological lift from your exercise, you're training yourself that being active is positive, and you're slowly training yourself to enjoy exercise, as opposed to feeling like it's a punishment. You'll want to challenge yourself as you continue enjoying being active more. Your beginning activity may start with slow walks, but you may eventually find that you like to run as well. Or maybe you don't, and you discover tennis or Zumba, but you'll do it because you want to, and not because you're forcing yourself to do it. So how do systems help solopreneurs? Most importantly, systems are more flexible than goals, and for a solopreneur, that is essential. If you're more of an A-type personality, this shift may make you feel a bit uncomfortable at first. It may feel like you're giving up control by not focusing all of your energy on a future goal. The question you must ask yourself is, what would happen if you shifted your focus from a singular goal to a process that still gets you there? If you're instead focused on the system, that doesn't mean that you're abandoning your goals and wandering around aimlessly. The answer is no. And here's why. Suppose a football coach chooses to focus choosing great players, developing amazing plays, and creating more effective practice routines instead of just the goal of winning. What do you think the results will be? They'll probably win. James Clear explains, every Olympian wants to win a gold medal. Every candidate wants to get a job. And if successful and unsuccessful people share the same goals, then the goal cannot be what differentiates the winners from the losers. The goal has always been there, and only when they implemented a system of continuous small improvements that they achieved a different outcome. For your business to be successful, it's important to understand what is working and what is not working with your current systems. If you think about parts of your process that are working and the parts that aren't, like what does your client generation look like? Do you have clients that fit your overall vision? If not, what can you change to find clients that are a better match? Think about your marketing campaigns and the systems that drive them. Is it working? What are the changes that you could implement in your marketing systems to reach more customers and to drive more business? Now think about your services and your products and the systems that you have in place to support them. What could you do to improve those services? How could you streamline your processes and make them even more efficient? Are your services and products testing well? If they aren't, what can you do to improve upon them? These small, day-to-day, incremental improvements will make you feel successful, fulfilled, and even more productive. Learning how you can push through daily struggles will bring you more confidence and happiness in a way that these hard-to-reach grand goals never will. A system shows you how to be better at what you do, and it greatly enhances your skill level. If something isn't working, you have the flexibility to change it and keep moving. You still have the skills that you developed, but you can now use them in a new direction, and that is the gift of a system. In the next video in the series, we'll dive into productivity key number 2, early risers get it done.